I want to give you a very extensive first look at iOS 11. The first couple features that I'm going to show you are some of the bigger features that have been kind of made very clear, and I just want to kind of make sure that you're aware of them. The second half of the video, I'm going to go through some lesser known features that I think may be just as important, if not more important, to the whole iOS 11 experience. So make sure you stay tuned for the entire video. So the first thing I want to show you is obviously Control Center. It's been significantly redesigned. So it's all on one screen now, which I think is an improvement. It kind of looks significantly different, but it has basically a widget interface. And if you look to the bottom of the screen, actually, you can see this one little red dot on here. That's actually a screen recording capability that you can now capture your iPhone or iPad screen right on the device. And it's a widget that you actually add to the Control Center, which you can customize in the settings and add a slew of different things. But what's also really nice for phones that have 3D touch is you can 3D touch onto most of these things to get more control over them. So I think that's pretty convenient. I'm not 100% sure how I feel right now about the new design. It's definitely an improvement in the sense that I don't have to go up and swipe to get over to my music controls, but not 100% sure exactly how I feel about it. Next thing I want to point out, if you look at the bottom of the screen capture right now, you can see that the dock has been changed. So on iPhone, there's basically no labels at the bottom, so it makes it a little bit cleaner looking. Okay, fine. If you look on the iPad version of iOS 11, it's actually much more expandable. You can include so many more apps than you could previously include, and it's also an option to basically have an ever-present dock. So you can always just swipe up from the bottom of the display and get access to your dock, similar to macOS 10, or I should say macOS Sierra or whatever you're running. But the new dock is something that you definitely are aware of. The next thing I want to show you is context-aware Siri. So Siri has been significantly improved upon. It'll just do a better job of knowing what you're talking to Siri about, and it also has a much more natural-sounding tone and speech when you speak to it. Another cool feature about it is that data is actually securely synchronized between your devices now, so as Siri learns more about you on your iPhone, your Mac version or your iPad version will do a better job with knowing those things as well. The other thing, of course, is that Siri now has a beta language transcription service, so I can ask, for example, now here actually the screen recording on iOS stopped recording audio and actually caused a lot of issues while recording this video. But basically what I was doing here was asking Siri how to say good morning in Chinese. There are several different languages that Siri will support. Right now, it only goes from English to those languages, like Chinese, as you can see in the video demonstration, as well as Spanish and some others that you can check out on Apple's website. You also have the option, if you click that tap to edit button that you can see at the top of the display, you can actually click tap to edit. And what that will allow you to do is to not have to re-speak a query to Siri and just go in and quickly change either an error that you made or a new search. And then you can go ahead and enter that in and it will re-search Siri. Well, so Siri has been significantly improved upon. It's probably still not the best virtual AI assistant out there, but it's making some progress. And I think from the time that this video is being recorded, which is July 1st, running in beta of iOS 11, to the time in December when Apple's new HomePod comes out, which will be Siri controlled, I think there'll be a lot of improvements as well. The next thing I want to talk about are notifications. They've been merged basically with the lock screen now, and I think this is something that I don't really like. But if you swipe down, you'll see here that, let me do that one more time because I was looking previously before I started recording. So if you swipe down for notifications, it brings you back to the lock screen basically. So this is the thing that you would see on your lock screen. You can see my most recent notification from 9 minutes ago. And if I swipe up, it then starts showing me more of my recent notifications. Again, if you remember from iOS 10, if you just swipe down from the top of the display, you would get access right to your list of notifications. So that's been changed as well. The next thing I want to talk about is the App Store. It's been redesigned. So if we go in here to the App Store, go to the front page, it's now this kind of card view, and it gives you different cards for suggestions, and It definitely looks better for sure. I'm not the biggest user of apps or using or searching for apps, but I do appreciate the fact that it has now an app of the day, a game of the day, a daily list of things. Apparently, I've already downloaded Headspace, even though I don't remember doing that. And you can scroll back as well. So it seems to me that it'll improve your ability to find new and cool apps. There's also now at the bottom a games only section. So if you want to have more control over finding games, you have that option. And then of course you just have the apps section, which, apps we love. And then if you keep scrolling down, top paid, top free. So things that you've seen. Obviously, interestingly, Tidal is now top free, which I guess is because a lot of people are trying to listen to the new Jay-Z album that just came out, which is a Tidal exclusive and a Sprint exclusive for new users, I think. I haven't been able to listen to it. But basically, they've done a good job with improving the look and feel of the App Store, which again hasn't really changed in a while, and I hope that this improvement will actually make it a lot easier to discover new apps. So those are the first 5 that I think are very big and a lot that you've already noticed. If you've liked this video so far, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you've clicked subscribe so all of my videos come right to your YouTube homepage. But if you're watching still, which I hope everyone is, I want to now go into some more granular updates to iOS 11 that I think are really useful and important and are going to be things that are really interesting to explore. So I think the Notes app is actually going to give us a good way of looking at some new features for Notes, obviously, but a couple other things that are just good to have in iOS. So I want to show you, if you look here at this Add button, you can actually add photos and video, or take photos from your library, add photos, add sketches, so drawings. You also, of course, have the Scan Documents button, and the Scan Documents button is actually really cool because it basically allows your iPhone or iPad to become a document scanner. So here you can see I was trying to scan the daily edition of the Wall Street Journal, and actually, while scanning this, it broke all of the screen capture material that was going on, so I'll have to go back and re-orate this part. But what I'm doing here is actually, because the lighting is poor, I'm manually readjusting the document. If the lighting was better, it would do a better job at automatically figuring out what was to be recorded. But here I went ahead and did that and scanned it, and now I can save that right to my Notes application, which is really pretty nice and convenient. It will make it really easy for you to get documents and possibly countersign them, scan them with your iPhone, and then email them back for execution, which is nice if that's something that you normally do. What's also really cool is that there's actually an option now throughout to actually save this as a PDF. So you can go ahead and see that doing a little bit of drawing here, you can click this button to generate a PDF, and then you can go ahead and send that or save it, which is really nice to be able to create PDFs right from iOS. The next thing I want to talk about is when you go into settings, iOS 11 actually has a new way of looking at your storage. Instead of having your storage and iCloud storage separated, it actually puts it now into one much easier to look at interface. And it actually also, what's great is gives you recommendations for ways to optimize your storage. So it tells you how much your photos are using. It gives you an option to automatically delete old iMessage conversations. It also gives you an option to turn on the feature to offload unused applications. And what's cool about offloading unused applications, it actually figures out which apps you don't use, basically deletes them, but stores your personal settings. So if you want to then reuse the app later, it will remember your individual information, but will not save the app during the times in which you're not using them. So that's an option that you can use to enable, or an option you can enable if you are low on storage and want to remedy that problem. Another option that Apple gave you if you go to your iPhone camera settings is actually the ability to change the file formats that you capture things in. There now gives you a high efficiency option which captures things in HEIF or HEVC formats that actually use significantly less space when capturing photos and videos. In fact, for a 4K video, you might be able to cut down file size in half by using the high efficiency format options. The next thing we should look at is the new Files option. There's actually an option now to look at all your files on your iPhone or iPad, and it actually makes it a lot more user-friendly, particularly on iPad if you're trying to use this for productivity. What's nice about it as well is it not only aggregates the documents that are stored locally on your phone, it'll aggregate the documents that are stored in your iCloud Drive, and it'll actually allow third-party applications to integrate right into the device. So for example, Dropbox would be able to integrate right into this particular application and would allow you to see not only all your local and iCloud documents, but all of your Dropbox and other third-party documents as well, all in one simple and easy-to-use location. Apple has also added some new features to your camera application. So basically, when you take a new picture, you're actually able to add certain effects to it, which makes it kind of nice, giving you those kind of Instagram-like effects, boomerang, for example, and some effects of that nature. It's also nice because for live photos in the past, you may have been stuck with a preview image of your live photo that didn't accurately represent what the live photo meant, or wasn't a very good one, and when you were sharing it, it didn't look good. You now have the option to change the key photo as well right in the application, which is a pretty big improvement for people who use live photos. The next thing I want to show you is the new way that you can take screenshots. So you take the screenshot the same way by pressing the home button and power button. And instead of it just snapping the picture and going away, it actually gives you a preview right in that bottom left that you can then interact with if you so choose. So we'll take another one just to show you. So then we'll go ahead and just click right on it. And it gives you an option right away to adjust it. So maybe I just want to show a particular slew of applications. I can go ahead and write on it, whatever I want to do. I can actually take multiple screenshots at the same time at the beginning and then edit them all at the same time. And then I can click share and I can go ahead and just share it any way that I would normally want to, including creating a new watch face for an Apple Watch. I can click done and I can save it to photos, or I can say, you know what, hey, I'm just taking a demo for a video that I'm recording for YouTube, so I don't need to keep that screenshot forever, and just go ahead and delete it. They've also gone ahead and updated the podcast application. Similar to the App Store, they've made it more card-focused. I don't really like it a lot more than the previous version of podcasts. Basically, I just need my podcast to play, but it does kind of streamline the interface that they're going with the App Store, and there's no real downside necessarily, so they've changed the podcast application in iOS 11 as well. Another brief thing I want to look at is simply that in Messages and other places where the keyboard is, Apple has now given you the option to use one-handed keyboards as well. So if you're on a train and holding onto a rail with one hand, this will make it a little bit easier to have your thumb reach all the way across and type out all the messages with one hand. So that's an option that you can enable on the keyboard throughout the operating system. A few last things that I just want to mention that aren't really capable of being shown in this video. There is a new Do Not Disturb While Driving function that basically allows you to either manually or automatically turn on Do Not Disturb while you're driving. And what's nice about that is it'll actually automatically send messages, if you so choose, to the people that are contacting you saying, hey, I'm driving, I'll get back to you when I'm finished, which should be a safety feature that people who drive are very happy to have. In iMessages, Apple is enabling Apple Pay transactions between user to user, so basically a Venmo killer right in iMessage that will allow you to send anyone money, which is kind of nice. And also, messages will now synchronize between devices, even new ones. In the past, obviously, you could set up your Mac and iPad and iPhone to get all of your iMessages, let's say. But you may have noticed that if you get a new device, it won't get your messages that you previously have had, which is because they're not actually synchronized. Well, now iCloud will securely synchronize all that information between your devices. There's Wi-Fi password sharing, so if a buddy comes over, I can share the password right from my iPhone to him, which is really nice. And the camera app will now also accept QR code scanning, so you can use a QR code to go to a website or to add a contact or whatever the case may be. So QR codes are now coming right to iOS 11. If you like this video, this extensive look at iOS 11, please make sure you've clicked subscribe. I really appreciate it, and maybe leave a comment or a thumbs up just so I know that you appreciated this video. For my social media, I have a new Instagram account, so instagram.com/therevivedone. Make sure you follow, and twitter.com/therevivedone as well. Thanks for watching.